All right, guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. So we got the Samsung Galaxy S20 and the iPhone 11. Now these phones, I could have used the iPhone 11 Pro Max, but I just think it's overkill for a comparison like this. The iPhone 11 is for sure one of the best phones on the market, and the S20 Plus is kind of the new guy on the block. Now, this is one of three devices, and this is one of three devices. And these are the two that I have right here in front of me right now. And so I'm going to be focusing on probably cameras the most. So I'll show you the camera comparison first. But overall, when it comes to the software, the iPhone is what it is. It's iOS, and then this is Android. So you have to decide whether or not you like Android or you like iOS. I don't really want to get into that. They both have their advantages and disadvantages. It's about a personal preference if you choose iOS over Android or Android over iOS. Now, I personally prefer Android for the flexibility that I get when it comes to running a YouTube channel. And not just that, but just overall, I like the Android just a tad bit better. iOS is definitely good. I keep an iPhone around, or 3 or 4. And, the iPhones are known for iMessage and FaceTime. That's what they're known for. And consumers love iMessage and FaceTime. This probably one of the best things about the iPhone, if anything, because I can play games with my daughter if I want to in iMessage. It's pretty cool. FaceTime is always really good and clear and on hand, ready to go. Android, on the other hand, it still hasn't really got that one thing that it's known for when it comes to messaging and video chat. So Duo is nice, but it's something that you have to install on an Android device if it's not already there to get people to enjoy it with you. And then people have to tell you, have to tell people about it. You get what I'm saying. It's old news. But overall, the software experience on both of these is really good. I found that, opening applications and things like that, as far as performance goes, I've always said that social media was better on the iPhone than it is on Android. Well, Android has tightened up, you know what I'm saying? So, the apps open really fast on here. Not that that means anything, we should exhibit some patience, but it's more preference. I still think that social media like YouTube or not YouTube, Instagram and Twitter and things like that, those kind of apps are just a little bit better on iOS for some reason. They perform better. Now, when it comes to speediness of phones, the Galaxy S20 definitely appears to be a lot speedier. But overall, I think when it comes to the OS, it's personal preference. Now, when it comes to battery, that depends on you as well. The S20 Plus, man, I've been getting like since the last 3 days, I've gotten over 8 hours of screen on time. It's just been really, really good. With iPhone 11, it gets really good battery life. The way it's measured is a little different, but still, I think it's still probably the standby king. At first, when I got the S20, the standby was really good, but that was at the beginning. And ironically enough, the standby is good still, but it's not as good as it was when I first got the device. Probably because more apps are working now, and it's just settling in, I guess. The battery life is good, and it's definitely more screen on time probably than the iPhone 11, but the standby time on the iPhone 11, getting more off of one cycle with the iPhone 11. So, but again, battery life depends on you, not the phones itself all the time, and not other users. So, camera. I put up a picture on Instagram, I think, and I put it up on my YouTube community. And I compared these two front cameras. I think the problem with the front camera on the S20 Plus is that it kind of overexposes like almost all the time. You have to have like the perfect lighting for it to really get it right. And with the iPhone, it's got that dim brown, yellowish hue, but some people like those tones. I like the cooler tones, but the S20 Plus doesn't do it as well. It doesn't do portraits, and because they're calling it live focus video or live focus photos. It's basically just a portrait shot. And you don't need it for the rear. You can just get a really good macro shot and it'll come out great. But with the iPhone, some people prefer actually more people, almost 99% of the people prefer the iPhone over the S20 Plus for that front portrait shot that I took. So I think it's a matter of personal preference, obviously. There were some people that like the S20, but I personally felt like the iPhone did a much better job in that setting. And then the photos and videos that you're going to see here, we'll take a look at it, and you can tell me what you think. So both of these cameras can record in 4K at 60 on the front, and I think that's really impressive. 4K 60 is obviously one of my favorites to shoot at, and I think it's great that the advancements of technology have come as far as we can do it on a phone. So this is the Galaxy S20 Plus, and this is the iPhone 11, not even the iPhone 11 Pro Max, because, they pretty much have the same cameras. I can use the iPhone 11 Pro Max. If I need to, I can go get it downstairs. However, I don't think it's necessary. You can see the quality of the footage here. You can see the video, the audio. You can see everything about it right here in this sample. So let's switch over to the rear. Now here is 4K 60 on the iPhone. You let me know how you think the quality is compared to the Galaxy S20 Plus. There is a night and day difference between this comparison with the iPhone compared to what I did with the Galaxy Note 10. The Note 10 is obviously a Samsung product, so the quality is kind of the same or close to it, but the iPhone, completely different shades of how they do their audio and video. Let's go. Now here is 4K 60 on the Galaxy S20 Plus. I'm doing them individually, but I want you to see how it looks here and sounds on the S20 Plus compared to the iPhone. So what do you guys think? All right, so what do you think about the rear camera photos? Now, the S20 Plus can do 8K video, and I have yet to test this out. It can also take 64 megapixel photos, and they are fabulous. They're fabulous. I haven't shot any 8K video yet because nobody can watch 8K. YouTube doesn't support 8K. Well, it supports it, but there's not enough people with 8K monitors or 8K TVs, so I don't see a point in doing that. I could shoot an 8K video and scale it down to 4K and upload it, and it'll probably look fantastic. Who knows? Maybe I'll do that. But the S20 does have the advantage as far as camera advancements and technology inside, but that doesn't mean that the quality and footage is better. Megapixels only mean so much, because I think the Pixel 4 is a better choice for cameras over the S20 Plus for still shots and some video. But shooting 4K 60 on the front of both phones is fabulous, but it's definitely night and day. If you don't hold them side by side, you're going to say one is great, but when you put them side by side, then you're forced to pick. And I think a lot of people would probably pick the iPhone. It just looks natural, I guess. It's not as bright, and I have the same lights going, the same setting. It's just that the iPhone does a better job at processing the image, it appears. So, there's no beauty mode on. There's no special effects. It's just, I make sure everything is off, and it's just shooting the footage. And with the Samsung phones, it's not bad. The S20 Plus is not bad, per se. It just needs to be in the right lighting. And most times, I don't have time to sit back and try to grab the right shot, or adjust lighting. I'm not gonna waste a lot of time trying to get a good photo. I could just pick up the iPhone if I just really needed to get something really fast, and that's ultimately what it is. So, which one of these phones do you think is for you? Do you think the S20 Plus? Do you think the iPhone 11? Some of you guys might say you should have compared it with the iPhone 11 Pro Max or the iPhone 11 Pro. I don't know. I just feel like those cameras are the same, and because physically they are the same. It's just missing one camera, and then the screen resolution, things like that. But that has nothing to do with the performance of the device. So I think either way, I could have used the S20, the smaller variant. It really didn't matter. They're ultimately all kind of the same. The display on the Samsung obviously is a lot better because it has a Quad HD display, and then also you can run it 120 hertz at 1080p. Which is where I pretty much run that phone, actually. I've gotten used to it, I guess. So, yeah, I think it's pretty nice. So, which one do you like? Do you like the S20 for video? And this video was kind of a roundabout, rough overdraft for people who might be trying to choose between the two, if their main focus is probably cameras and battery and things like that. But, I think the iPhone definitely performs great for the front and the rear. And I think it's about personal preference. If I could find a way to tweak Samsung's set, now the rear camera to me is a really good on the S20 Plus, and the fact that I can do 8K, it gets the upper hand. Even if I never use it, which it's actually set to 8K for video. I had to turn it off because I've been meaning to shoot some 8K video. But it's been storming and we're inside, so I don't want to shoot too much 8K video inside. But nonetheless, you decide which one you think is best for just a quick purchase, or a purchase that you're going to buy and keep for 2 years. I would tell a person to get the iPhone, honestly. I think the iPhone it's been out for a while. It's seasoned, it's balanced, and the Samsung S20 Plus, just the S20 line, they're still new. They're still new, but they don't get an excuse. They don't get a pass because, I don't like some of the images, or, I think this needs to be updated. Overall, the S20 Plus is a great phone. But when I was posting photos back and forth, I was like, wow, this does look kind of different on the S20 Plus. It's weird. There's no problems with the S20 Plus. It's just that when you put it next to other phones, it seems like it's almost Samsung is doing too much image processing, making things too bright. And it's not, it should be toned down. Anyways, man, Jay, hope you guys enjoyed a quick, brief, just random off the cuff talk about the iPhone 11 and the S20 Plus. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you in the next one. Take care.